Here we are, welcome back to the channel. And having competed in both real life racing and sim racing, I often get asked one question. So whether it's racing from grassroots karting or 125 gearbox karting on long circuit, over to 250 supercarts, or even Division 1 supercarts that can reach speeds of 150 miles an hour. And that question is, which is harder, real life racing or sim racing? So to tackle this question, let's go back to the beginning. I've always had a passion for motorsport and especially karting. So a few years ago we used to go on these rental karts with your mates as you do, and I was getting so addicted to how good and how close the racing was that this just wasn't enough, so I decided I had to get myself in something a little bit quicker. So we decided to end up racing in the British Superkart series, racing on these long circuits such as Silverstone in this 250 gearbox supercar. And I was competing in this championship for around about 10 years, and you can see how close this racing is, and this is such an awesome series to be a part of. And genuinely, this is probably one of the best things that I've ever done in my life. And as you can see, we didn't just compete for fun, but actually for championships, as we did win a few championships along the way, as well as individual races, all the way up to when I decided to retire in 2018. So to fill that want and need to race, I decided to take up sim racing on Gran Turismo 7. Now this sim world was all new to me. I mean, I've played a lot of racing games over the years and been playing all the Gran Turismo series from GT1. But racing real people online is a different kettle of fish altogether. But we managed to win quite a few races online, join a team and actually win a league championship as well. So having won championships in both real life and sim racing, I think we are fully equipped to try and answer this question. So let's get into the comparisons, and the first one that we're going to look at is the obvious one: physicality. When you're driving these karts around these circuits, you are literally running an inch off the floor with no suspension. You can feel absolutely everything, every single bump, and you're reaching speeds of 125 miles an hour plus. And around some of the quick corners, you're reaching around about or just shy of 3G. Now compare that to sim racing, where you're in your comfort of your own home. You can wake up in the morning with your dressing gown on, have a little trip around deep forest, and when you're ready, you can pause the game, have a little snack, and get straight back to it. I mean, let's be honest, you don't have to really keep in shape or be in the best shape to do sim racing. So with that in mind, there's literally no comparison to the real thing. Still sticking with the physical side of sim racing, there's only so much detail you can have through the wheel, or even through the controller. And to me, no matter how good you set your wheel up, it still doesn't feel like the real thing. Instances like this, you're pushing too hard, you lose that grip. What can you do? Well, I'll tell you what you can do. You press start and you retry. Do it again. You can see you're coming through Lesmo 1. You go a bit wide. You haven't got those dirty tyres. We can't really feel the car underneath us. Little grip of the throttle. And in the barrier again. What do? Start and retry. Same again, through a scary. And this is one thing, for me, it's absolutely huge. So you push too much because you haven't got that sensation speed. If you haven't got the sensation, it doesn't give you that real life sense of danger. So again, we retry. And this is one thing that you do not get in real life. You don't get that opportunity, you don't get the chance to retry. If you're pushing and you push too much and you go off, it literally is game over. These things can be absolutely brutal. Now we've seen the good side of supercars and good side of racing. Now we're going to show you when reality hits, as this is taken back in 2017. We were at Cadwell Park setting a qualifying lap. We come through Charlie's one, had to avoid a car actually spinning right in front of us. As we come onto the grass, reaching speeds of probably just shy of 100 miles an hour, you can see the bracing for impact. Actually hit the barrier there, ran about I think 95, 96 miles an hour. As you can see the tyre wall pretty much non-existent, and this can be an issue with some of the UK tracks. You can see as we hit the barrier, the car actually spins round, we actually hit our head on the barrier, and actually get knocked unconscious, which puts us in hospital for 3 days. And this is the brutal reality of real life racing when it goes wrong. But we did keep smiling, and you know what to say? Enough for that. If you fall off the horse, get straight back on it. And that's exactly what we did. Gloves on, helmet on, and you hit that track as soon as possible. And this is what brings me to the next section, mentality. So the differences between sim racing and real life racing. So real life racing, you have to be so mentally strong to cope with the demands of the car, the track, the G-forces, the competition, the 40, 50 cars surrounding you on track, and also things like this. So a lot of the rounds were also televised, and that just adds more pressure mentally. Obviously, you know you're being watched, you know being filmed, so you want to do the best you can. You don't want to make mistakes, especially on camera, but you know that you're also fighting for championships as well. So the pressure is real. And I can't imagine how the guys in F1 or any pinnacle of motorsport feel with the pressure when there's so much at stake. When at this level, at national level, you know, the pressure for me was so intense. And sometimes it can take that fun factor away slightly, so you've got to find that balance. Now let's compare that to mentality during sim racing. And you can see a lot of times when you're on with your friends or competing at different levels, it's just so much fun, so different. And I think the mentality there, you go out, you have a laugh with your mates. It's a way or a place to unwind, I suppose. And for a lot of people, for a lot of us, it is that release. Close having the stress of, you know, full-time job, coming back, just a release from family life, from work life, just in general. And it's a place where you can actually meet friends, have a laugh. It's just a completely different approach. And the thing is, if you're fed up with it or you've had enough, you can switch it off and you can go. But in real life, yeah, you can't do that. If you're having a bad weekend, then you're having a bad weekend and you've just got to get on with it. I've been there many a times and I've had many a bad weekend. And you just got to carry on and go through the pain. And that itself is mentally draining, as you could end up travelling back 3 hours on your own, thinking, why am I doing this? Travelling up and down the country with no reward whatsoever. But you have to keep going, and that's the main thing. Now, let's look at competition, and for me, this is where sim racing takes over. Now, the level of sim racing is absolutely insane. Now, I've raced against English champions, British champions, O-Plate champions, you name it, European champions, pretty much everyone going in Superkart world. So I've got some top drivers. For me, sim racing just takes that next level. You've got people who can literally pick up a controller and be one of the fastest guys in the world. Now this is just accessible to absolutely anyone. But I suppose in real life it isn't. Some people aren't lucky enough to experience that. I myself, I'm very lucky to experience real life racing. The tracks that I never thought I'd ever race on, so I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. But now you're racing against these sim guys who can spend hours and hours and hours a day practicing. I'm not saying all of us do, and I can just jump on as and when I can. Family life does take over and work life, as most of us. But anyone can go on this game, having a controller, a wheel, and go on it all day, all night, and just hone their skills, literally day in, day out. And you don't have that chance in real life racing. You'll have a couple of practice sessions, qualifying sessions, and that's it. But this, you can literally turn it on every day, and this is what makes it so difficult. It's what people don't understand. Yes, it's not real, but the level of competition is absolutely crazy. You see from this footage at Alton Park, actually one of my favourite tracks to race on. We're on board with fellow driver Sam Moss. We've got Dan Clark in front. You can see me coming any minute now, just going through Druids. But a typical weekend for a Superkart Championship is a practice session, a qualifying session, and 2 races. So this is what I mean with the fact that this is all the track time you've got. Each session is around about 15 minutes. So when you do add it up over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you're only doing around about an hour's track time. So yeah, there's no comparison. But like I said, people picking up a controller or racing on a wheel at home can go on this day in, day out. And you haven't got that worry of track time. You've only got an hour's track time. Well, unless your missus tells you otherwise. But yeah, you get where I'm coming from with this. If you want to be good at anything or get better, you need to practice. And for me, that's why the competition in sim racing is harder than in real life. So, what also does sim racing offer you that real life doesn't? Well, you've got all this different array of tracks at your fingertips. So you can race at any of these tracks that you would never have a chance to in real life. Yes, it's not real, but it does give you the option to race at all of these tracks. And also cars that you never will have a chance to race for, from our classic cars to rally cars, new cars, GT4 cars, GT3 cars. You've got supercars you can race, even single seaters, or super Formula or even Formula 1 cars. Then you've got concept cars you can choose, and yes, you guessed it, even karts. So you're not going to get the opportunity to race most of these in real life, so at least sim racing does offer you to race all these different cars on all these different circuits. So to summarise this, let's answer the question, which is harder, sim racing or real life racing? Now we have covered a few topics in this, and because they are so vastly different, I can't give you a definite answer to which one actually is harder. There's so many different aspects to real life racing that will never compare to sim racing, as they're just so much harder in real life. But for me, I would say the competition that sim racing is more challenging. But this is only my opinion, so let me know what you guys think if you experienced both these before, and let me know. For now, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all on the next one. Ladies.